Matt, I think we're going to talk about multi-vendor IP network planning now.
Yes, Chris. On this one, as I mentioned about, being able to understand what's happening from a root cause perspective, we also need to be able to then go, hey, what changes can I make and what kind of impact do they have on a particular outage? In the last case we saw where those two adjacencies failed at the same time, caused a very strange routing path. We look at it and go, well, we really need more redundancy here. Let's look at how adding an additional link from New York to LA could resolve and fix this issue, right? So here I go into topology planning. Kind of pops up a nice little window here where I go out and I say I want to add a new link. I just select the endpoints. Here you can see highlighted the JFK and LA devices, and I hit next. So as the system applies this new link, it'll actually adjust the routing to show us how the traffic would be impacted. Notice that the forward traffic got shifted over, but the return traffic is still being controlled by a TE tunnel that's taking it through that long congested path that we had earlier. In this case, if somebody had gone in and actually added this link to the network through a change control window, they would suddenly have asymmetric routing and not understand why that's happening. Here in this case, we can say, hey, you don't want to just add this link. You're going to need to understand how the TE tunnels are configured so that you can reconfigure them to actually take this link in the time of a failure. In this case, I can hit my show impact. I wanted to see what the impacts were. I can see that it's not balanced traffic here. It actually highlights what's changed in the configuration when you make a change. And as you add it, it gives you feedback on did it have the impact you expected to. Here we're going to go back up here. I can come in and select the tunnel and have actually change its ERO. So instead of it was actually configured with a hard route, and that hard route did not reconverge when we added the link. Now we can actually make that tunnel follow that particular link. I can apply it here in the model, and when I do, it then reflects exactly how that traffic would flow to and from Chicago in the case of being able to add another link for resilience in this particular case.
Matt, a couple questions. Sorry to interrupt, but I think this is an important one. Key word you said there was model. Now, again, our financial customers are very sensitive to any changes, any actions on their network. So this is all being done offline. This is not actually doing any changes to the network, right? This is a model where you're taking data out of the network. Is that correct?
Yes, Chris, and good point there too, because we've had a number of financial customers that actually use this as part of their change control process. Before they go out and put changes onto the network or make the changes in configurations in the routers, they'll run it through the simulator to make sure it doesn't have any adverse impacts.
Another question about that. A lot of times we've seen tools like this out in the industry, but it's data from a week ago or a month ago. How accurate or how real time is this data that you've pulled off the network here?
This is really real time. We talk about it being millisecond by millisecond, but it also allows you to go to any point in time. So if you had a particular failure, like in this case where we stopped time 30 minutes ago and we were looking at a particular failure and then modeling the changes, because we are building this model from the actual as running network, you can go back to any point in time. You don't have to make a bunch of modifications. You don't have to interact with the model or anything else. The system already has it captured, and then you can make your changes and see exactly what would happen. Now I add, let's say Black Friday traffic or close of business Friday traffic onto this, and how much congestion would that happen or add to or take away from. We can do all of those kinds of manipulations within the model without ever touching the network.